Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Chat. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen, and this week we are discussing Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory 2023. We're going to be going over the show. I'll go through each match and give you my thoughts and predictions on who I think will win and what surprises we could possibly see during the show. Or what I would want to see for the show. So it's going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a banger of a pay-per-view. There's a lot of great matches here. It's going to be a stacked card. Number one, we got the Rascals versus the ABC for the Tag Team Championship. This is going to be a great match. You're going to expect lots of high-flying, lots of action. Two great tag teams. And of course, ABC cashed in their Feast or Fired briefcase to get this title shot. The Rascals have been on a roll lately, even though they've been kind of cheating to win every time, but using the spray paint to take people out. I just have a feeling the ABC is going to get it back. I think they're dying to get those titles back. But it's tough because Rascals have been on such a good run. I kind of want to see them keep going, but I just get the feeling that ABC is going to win it back. Number two, we got Chris Sabin versus Kenta for the X Division Championship. Kenta is from New Japan Pro Wrestling, of course. So Impact continues their great working relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Got a couple of those type of matches in this pay-per-view. I gotta think that Chris Sabin is going to retain. There's no way he's going to lose the X Division Championship to Kenta and have them take it over to New Japan, and we get a whole new Kenny Omega type situation here where someone who's not an Impact talent has the Impact X Division Championship. I do not want that. Chris Sabin is, to me, the best wrestler in Impact Wrestling. To me, he's one of the greatest of all time to be in Impact. He's 10-time X Division Championship. And I feel like I want to see him cash in the X Division Championship using the option C for a world title shot, because nobody deserves it more than Chris Sabin. He's been working his ass off, and he's been having 5-star matches. He's been kicking ass for a long time, ever since he returned in 2020 at Slammiversary. He's just been killing it. Number 3, we got PCO versus Rhino versus Moose versus Steve Macklin in the Monsters Ball match. This is going to be a wild one. I'm sure you can expect a real hardcore match with ladders and tables and chairs and all that stuff and blood everywhere. It's gonna be brutal, man, I'm telling you. But Moose has been on a roll, ever since he got that Feast or Fired briefcase, and I think he's gonna keep the momentum going until he cashes in that briefcase for a world title shot. So definitely going Moose on that one. Then we have the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. MK Ultra, which is Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly, taking on Tasha Steelz, who just recently returned. And of course the Virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo. This is a tough one because I love MK Ultra. They're a great team. They really got great chemistry together. And they're just like badass, they're sexy, they're goth, they're really cool. And I recently met Killer Kelly, got my picture with her with the Knockouts Tag Team Championship on her shoulder. I would like to see them continue their reign, but this is a tough one. You got two big stars there with Tasha Steelz and Deonna Purrazzo. I mean, that's tough. And both have held the Knockouts Tag Team Championship on different teams there. You know, Deonna Purrazzo had it with Chelsea Green about a year ago, before she went back to WWE. Tasha Steelz has held it on multiple occasions, I believe, with Kiera Hogan. Then we got... who do I think's going to win that one, though? I think we might get new Knockouts Tag Team Champions with Tasha Steelz and Deonna Purrazzo. By the way, Deonna Purrazzo's contract is coming up real soon. So listen to me, Impact Wrestling. You better do your damnness to get Deonna Purrazzo back. You better not let her go, because she is the best women's wrestler in Impact. And has been for the past, 4 years now? 3 years at least? She is phenomenal. There's no way you can let her go, because she's going to go off to be a big star in either AEW or WWE, no matter where she goes. Don't let her go. And next up, we got Will Ospreay versus Mike Bailey. Now, Will Ospreay has been with New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's also showed up in AEW and has had some high-profile matches. He's a big star, and many, many people consider him to be the best pro wrestler going right now in the world, you know. So this is definitely going to be a banger of a match. Mike Bailey is really good. You know you're always going to get a great match out of him. Phenomenal talent on both sides, but I think easily Will Ospreay is going to get the win here. There's no question about it. This match is just basically to showcase Will Ospreay. Hey, we got Will Ospreay showing up in Impact. You know, we're going to give him a banger of a match. And I don't know if you saw, but recently Will Ospreay said that Impact could be his new home because his contract is coming up with New Japan. So he stated that Impact could very well be his new home, so that would be great to see, you know. Then we got the Impact Hall of Fame with two great entrants this year. We got Tracy Brooks, the original Knockout. Yeah, she was around way back in the day when the division first started. I think she was around even before the division actually started, but definitely a huge influence on the Knockouts division. Gorgeous woman. Great skills in the ring. Great character. And she recently came back to be on the side of course, her husband, Frankie Kazarian, taking on, you know, in his big, huge feud that he's been having with Eddie Edwards. And Alicia Edwards was getting involved too, physically, you know, knocking Kazarian out with the kendo stick and all this. And then they ended up having a tag team match at one of the pay-per-views. It was a whole lot of fun seeing her come back to the ring after so many years. But yeah, congratulations to Tracy Brooks on being a Hall of Famer. And of course we got also being inducted Mike Tenay and Don West, legendary commentary duo for Impact Wrestling. Definitely the voices of Impact Wrestling, and especially in the early days. Definitely probably in the conversation, one of the great commentary duos of all time. I love Mike Tenay, especially, you know, given his time with WCW, of course, back in the days of Monday Nitro. I always loved him on that, and I always loved him in Impact too. One of the best play-by-play guys ever. So, what a wealth of knowledge Mike Tenay has. It's almost like mind-blowing how much he knows about professional wrestling. And the late Don West was such a colorful personality. It was sad to see that he passed away a couple years ago. But yeah, well deserved. Then we got the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, which is a 20-man Royal Rumble type of match, which is always a lot of fun and has become a staple of Bound for Glory. We usually do get a surprise or two in there, and they have announced about 15 people for that match, so we got 5 people that have not been announced. As of this time that I'm doing this video, only 15 have been announced, so here's a chance where we could have a couple big surprises here, But so far they've announced like Dango, Giselle Shaw, Jordan Grace, Jake Something, Eric Young, Joe Hendry, Brian Myers, Bully Ray, Kylan King, both Kazarian and Eddie Edwards, Kenny King. So let's see, who could we have be a big surprise to show up? So here's where I'd like to see a couple big new signings for Impact. Now, unfortunately, the recent releases from WWE are not going to show up because they have this stupid 90-day no complete clause, which, that's what Vince McMahon invoked, of course, after what happened with WCW, how, they could, where it was crazy, they would leave WWE and then show up the next night on Monday Nitro, and that happened a lot, So because of that, he invoked the 90-day no-compete clause, which sucks, you gotta wait 3 months for someone to show up in Impact or AEW. So, I'm gonna pick a couple of talents that have been gone from WWE for more than that. And that being said, Mandy Rose, I would love to see come into Impact Wrestling. I think she would be a huge addition for them, and I think she'd be great. And it'll be great to see her back in the ring, She goes by Mandy Sachs now. I know she makes a crap ton of money doing OnlyFans. And she might not ever come back to wrestling, but I would love to see her back, and I think Impact Wrestling would be a perfect showcase for her talents. And I would love to see her come back. Also, I would like to see the Bella Twins debut for Impact Wrestling. That would be huge, And recently, Brie Bella mentioned Impact Wrestling, that she watches, and she's going to be watching the show. Particularly, she mentioned that she's going to be watching Trinity versus Mickie James, and she said recently that she wants to come back to wrestling. So, what better place than Bound for Glory, the biggest show of the year for Impact Wrestling. So those two are the ones I want to see. Who do I think is going to win this match? I think it's either going to be Frankie Kazarian, because I definitely think now that his feud has kind of wrapped up with Eddie Edwards, that he's going to move on to the main event scene. Or Jordan Grace. Same thing. I think she just came back recently and she's been killing it. And I think she's ready to go back to the main event scene for the Knockouts Championship very soon. And this is the perfect opportunity, of course. Next up, we have Trinity versus Mickie James, which I think could be the main event of this show, because those are the two biggest stars right now in Impact Wrestling. Yeah, it's going to be a huge match, and I would love to see Mickie James have one last rodeo, one last run with the Knockouts Championship. I would love to see that, but I don't think it's going to happen, because Trinity is just the biggest star in Impact Wrestling right now. I don't see her run ending too soon, you know. The only way I could possibly see it is if Mickey turned heel and, you know, turned her back on the fans and kind of cheated to win. That's the only way I could see Mickey James winning. Which could be interesting, which would be really cool. I could see her winning in that case. And then maybe Trinity getting it back in the next pay-per-view. The next big pay-per-view, maybe Rebellion or something. And then we got, of course, the World Heavyweight Championship with Alex Shelley versus Josh Alexander. This is going to be an awesome match. I cannot wait. These are the two best wrestlers in Impact right now. Aside from Chris Sabin, which I said earlier, but yeah. Alex Shelley is the champion currently, and well-deserved. You know, he's been with the company for so long, even though he left a couple times and came back. He still is a huge staple of the history of Impact Wrestling, obviously with the Motor City Machine Guns with Chris Sabin, and as a solo wrestler. And he has been having some great matches. And I didn't always think he had the greatest personality. Like, he's never been that great on the mic, and he's never had that well-defined of a character until recently. And I've loved what I've been seeing out of him in this feud with Josh Alexander. He's starting to really come alive, and I'm loving it. And we're starting to get a little bit of heel factor in there. I think by the time this show happens, he's going to be like the heel of the match. And for that reason, I think that he might retain. I think it's too soon for him to lose, you know. He's been waiting so long. He's been waiting his whole life to get this run as a world champion, you know, in Impact Wrestling. And I think it's really too soon for Josh Alexander to just, you know, he just came back a couple months ago, you know, from injury. And I think it's a little too soon for him to already be on top and to already get the title back. It just seems too easy for me, you know. I definitely think he's going to win it down the line, but I think it's too soon at Bound for Glory. I think Alex Shelley is going to retain, but Moose is eyeing that championship. He's got the Feast or Fire briefcase, and he has cashed it in before at Bound for Glory against Josh Alexander. So don't be surprised if he cashes it in and wins the championship. Because I don't see Moose attempting to cash it in and failing. I don't see him failing. Moose, if he cashes it in, he's going to win. There's no way that he's going to try and cash it in and fail. I just do not see that happening. Moose is too good for that, you know, and he's too important to Impact Wrestling to let him just fail, you know. I don't see that. So it's very possible that he could cash in against Alex Shelley. You know, Alex Shelley could, I feel, is definitely going to retain, but he could lose it to Moose on the cash-in. So don't be surprised if that happens. What other surprises could we possibly see? I think that Mercedes Moné could possibly come in and get involved in that Knockouts World Championship match. I would love to see that, and I think she would be an absolute game changer for the Knockouts division. Like, if she came in, then there's no way you could question that the Knockouts division is the biggest division in women's wrestling in the world. I mean, come on. That would be huge, and you get all kinds of great matchups. All the possibilities are endless for her. I know she's been out on injury for quite a while, and I don't know what's going on with her contract with New Japan right now. I don't know if it's coming up soon or not. But even so, with the great relationship that Impact has with New Japan, they could loan her to Impact for a little bit, at least for a few matches, a few high-profile matches. I could see that happening, and she has mentioned before that you could see her in Impact down the line, because the sky is the limit for Mercedes Moné. She could go anywhere. She could go to AEW. She can do whatever she wants. And I would like to see one of those runs be Impact Wrestling, especially where her best friend, Trinity, is there. And she has gone there before to watch her best friend, Trinity, in action. So don't be surprised if she shows up in Impact as a wrestler, as a performer. I would love that, personally. But at any rate, I think this is going to be an awesome pay-per-view. I think that Impact is just going to kill it. And I think they are currently on the rise, I do think they are trying to build up to something bigger than they are. I think they finally are just starting to make some moves to elevate the product. And they have mentioned that they're going to be spending more money on production value and stuff. So that's exciting. So yeah, love to see Impact step up their game and do a little more to get into the competition with the other two big companies. I'd like to see them start making some big moves and, get in the game, Impact. Get in the game, because you got NWA now making moves too. They're trying to reinstitute the territory system there, Billy Corgan. So if they don't watch that back, NWA could start being bigger than Impact. New Japan could start being bigger than Impact. So Impact needs to step it up. If they want to at least remain the number 3 promotion, they need to step it up. So yeah, I cannot wait for the show, guys. That's my thoughts. That's my predictions. And thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Erschen, in the Pro Wrestling Chat. Tune in and lock up.